Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Oscar, and today I'll be showing you how to build a PC, every step necessary to build a PC. Today I'll be using an MSI MPG B550. To get started, we're going to need a screwdriver, thermal paste, and most importantly, a pair of hands. For the CPU, I will be using Ryzen 7 3700X. And when you go ahead and install the CPU, make sure you line up the triangles as you're seeing right now. Once you put it in, you're not supposed to put any force in it. It's just supposed to go straight in, and you go ahead and push the lever down to secure the CPU. Next, we'll be installing some some RAM, some DRAM. We have DDR4 over here. It's a 3600 megahertz. You put the first slot. You do to run down the double channel. You put the first one in the first slot, and then the second one in the third slot, and that would run dual channel. Next, we will be installing our driver, our storage. I already have Windows installed in it, so it's preloaded. All I have to do is pop it in and screw it down, and we'll be good for that. So just go ahead and make sure it's seated all the way in, hold it down, and most motherboards you put a screw in. Some have a different kind of securing method, but this one has a screw. Once we've done that, we can go ahead and apply our thermal paste to our CPU. I like to do an X because X marks the spot. After we've done the X, apply the thermal paste, we can go ahead and mount our cooler. Each cooler comes with their own mounting brackets. The one I got came with these mounting brackets. Just make sure you have the back plate, and just for the most part you follow the instructions for your cooler, because each cooler has different mounting method. For mine, I put the spacers in, and then I screw down the mounting brackets to the back plate of the motherboard. Just make sure you get it right, not like me. Once you install the brackets, you can go ahead and install the cooler. When you're installing the cooler, if it has multiple screws, make sure you screw one side and then you alternate from side to side. Don't screw one side completely and then the other side, because then the distribution of thermal paste will not be even. Once we have the cooler down, depending on what you're using, an AIO or a tower cooler, you can go ahead and place the motherboard inside the case. Make sure you have the stand-ups for the motherboard as shown in the video. This will be used to secure the motherboard to the case. Once you have your stand-ups installed, or sometimes they come pre-installed, you can go ahead and lower your motherboard in, clear all the cables, make sure there's no cables underneath the motherboard because they'll get pinched, and you can cause a short or something bad can go wrong. Just make sure you line it up. Once you have it lined up, go ahead and screw your motherboard screws to the standoffs as shown in the video. Make sure you put all your screws in. Some people are lazy and don't put all of them. I like to screw all my screws in just because peace of mind. You know that nothing is gonna be loose. Everything's gonna be secured and tied to the case. After securing your motherboard and everything is well screwed, you can go ahead and install your fan for the cooler. There, for the most part, fans have an arrow to show you which direction the air blows to. And make sure you put your exhaust towards the back of your case to the back fan of the case. If your fan has RGB, make sure you plug in your RGB cable, and the power cable for the fan, make sure you plug it into the CPU fan header, because that communicates with the CPU and it spins accordingly to the CPU. Next, we'll be installing our graphics card. We have an RX 6600. You install that in the first slot of a PCIe 16. Just make sure you line it up and you press it in. You will hear a click once it's well secured. After you secure it, make sure you screw the screws on the side of the motherboard. Next, we will be installing our power supply. I like to put the fan of the power supply facing downwards to, I think it blows down. Yeah, I think it blows down. It blows out hot air. We don't want that air blowing into the case. But before you put in the power supply, make sure you install all your cables. This is fully modular power supply, so we'll be installing it right now. If yours is non-modular, you can go ahead and put it in. Right now we installed the 24 pin. Now we'll be installing the CPU power. This is the CPU power. We're gonna be installing it right there. It's gonna be used to power your CPU. The one next to it is for the graphics card. Next is SATA cables. This will power your lights, your LED lights, your fans, and hard drives. Anything that requires SATA power. Once you have all your cables plugged in, you can go ahead and slide in your power supply and secure it to the case by screwing it with the screws that the power supply came provided with. Once you're done securing the power supply, you can go ahead and start routing your cables. This is the 24 pin. 24 pin, there will be passing it through the hole next to the 24 pin slot. This is power for the graphics card. This is PCIe power. Slide it underneath because I like to run it underneath and go from bottom to top. This is one of the SATA power cables. This is for my fans. This is and all these cables are for USB and audio, and the front panel buttons like power, hard drive lights, all that good stuff. Right now I'm routing the CPU power cables, just making sure I'm running all the power first, and then I will be running the USBs and all these other stuff, because I like to run the other ones first. It just makes it easier, and all this other stuff is small, and I can just squeeze it in next to the other cables. Okay, now that we have all our cables routed to the front, I like to start with the power switch cables, hard drive LED lights, reset switch, all those front panel things. We will be installing them right now. Usually the location for those pins is right here, and there's a diagram to show you how they go wired. Just follow the diagram on your motherboard, or you can check your motherboard's manual. First, we're gonna start with the USB 3.0 that goes there. Next, it's audio and USB 2.0. USB 2.0, just connect it where it says USB to the USB header. Just go ahead and plug it in there and you're good. Next is HD audio. Audio is usually on the other corner above the audio chip. Next, we'll be installing the 24 pin for the motherboard. This will provide power to all the other components like RAM and other things. After connecting that, we're gonna go ahead and connect our CPU power. CPU power is in the top left, shown on the video. Next is gonna be our GPU. Some GPUs have more pins. have more connectors, have 2 or 3 or 4 connectors, and then the new graphics card, AMD card, I'm sorry, Nvidia cards have a new special connector. Once we've done connecting everything, like you can go ahead and power it on to test everything. You see it's powering on. Since I already had Windows loaded, I'm just checking it to see if it boots. And as you can see, it's booting perfectly. We're ready to go into Windows, and everything just worked just fine. Let's sign in, and here we go. We're signed in. Everything looks good. Everything is working, and yeah, thank you for watching.